Alright guys, so before we start today's video, I did promise on last week's video that I would give away an Olaplex stylist kit, so I'm sticking to my word. That kit is going to JT Conspiracy on YouTube, so thank you guys all for commenting, subscribing. Make sure you keep that up because I'll be giving these things away quite often. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let's start the video. Alright, so all of you Olaplex lovers out there, I have another video for you guys. This one, this week, is going to be a really cool, simple color technique. Very salon friendly, so you can use it at work starting tomorrow. It's just to brighten up, create really natural light pieces around the face, and then to get a little bit tighter right in the front, create kind of that face framed highlight look. But the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to tone this at the end, so I'll show you guys how to use Olaplex and then a toner, because a lot of you guys have questions about that. So I want to show you guys the process of how you apply the Olaplex, step 2, and then how you put the toner on as well. So you're going to get the technique, the toner, all of that in this video, and the style at the end is going to be great. I think you guys are going to really like it. Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to this channel because we have new videos coming out every single Tuesday. So hit that subscribe button now before you forget. Let's get started. Alright guys, so when mixing Olaplex step number 1 into balayage lightener, which is what we're going to be using today, you're going to use a 1/16 of an ounce. That's going to help keep with the consistency and also not dilute any of your formula, so you don't have to worry about changing your developers or anything like that. So we mix the balayage lightener fully, and then you put the 1/16 of an ounce into your bowl of balayage lightener, and then you're ready to go. Our sectioning for this technique is going to be very simple. You can see Grace's hair has a little bit of light color to the ends. That's all natural. She actually hasn't colored her hair before, so these little bit of highlights in there, this is just going to enhance that effect. So we're still creating a natural look, but we want it to be a little brighter than what it would naturally be. So I'm going to start off by doing a teasing technique into my hand painting. So you guys have probably seen like a tease cutting technique and then put into a foil. This, I just want a smooth transition, kind of a grown out underneath highlight, because if you look at hair naturally, sometimes it's a little bit brighter on the ends, a little darker on the base. This allows your hand painting to be even more of a smooth transition from mid shaft to ends. So just a little bit of a tease. Now, the other thing I want to tell you guys is some of you guys have maybe tried a tease technique for coloring hair, and maybe you teased it a little bit too much. This, I'm sticking with really fine sections, about 1/2 inch wide at the most. And then I tease just a couple times just to shift that hair a little bit. My goal is not to over tease the hair. And I'm not really, that's why the hand painting is great, because I'm not really trying to overcompensate for the fact that I'm not good at blending. I just wanted to have an extra blend on the sides. So going in 1/2 inch section, you can see I only tease a few times. That one, you can see it's teased up, but once I go to shampoo it, it's going to come out really nice. I don't have to worry about hurting the hair. That's really our goal, is not to hurt the hair when we're coloring it this way. So the other great thing about Olaplex is Grace has finer texture hair, so protein bonds, you definitely want to keep as much strength in the hair as possible. So this is really going to help multiply those bonds, keep her hair nice and strong throughout this whole entire process. The overhead view on this video for some reason is a little bit blurry, but I wanted to throw it in there because it still does give you guys a good visual of how I'm painting. But right now I'm painting very even. Because of the teasing, I can just really paint evenly across, and you won't get that line of demarcation because you don't have to worry about it's going to blend it more with that teasing. That teasing goes all the way up to the parietal ridge. You'll also see in a second, I did clip away that piece right at the recession point right here. So a small piece, because that I want to brighten from scalp to ends. So I'm going to hand paint that piece individually because that'll help enhance the highlight right around her face. So this is her part side. So this is a very important piece. So you want to make sure when painting that you really get a nice blend with the product all the way from that scalp to the end. You can see how it kind of tapers off down to the mid shaft. Now we're going to work through the top. We're going to work diagonal forward through the top section. It's almost like a rectangle on top of her head from parietal ridge to parietal ridge on each side. So I'm going to work diagonal forward all the way through that and hand paint that V shape. So now we're doing a very standard balayage on the top because that's where the sun would be hitting her hair naturally, and that's where it would be naturally brightening up. So I start off, I paint that V shape up high on one side, up high on the other side, and then down the middle has a little bit more of an empty feel to it to keep that depth in the color. Other thing with balayage lightener, I've talked about this before, but it's really important. It's got a clay base. It's a real thick feel to the lightener. The reason it has that base is not only so it paints on smooth, but it also coats the hair and almost gives it like an incubation like a foil would. So getting a lot of saturation on the ends, the more saturation you have, the brighter it's going to be. On Grace's hair, we're not really trying to get a heavily highlighted effect or very blonde effect. We're actually going to be toning this down to like a level 7. So my goal with her and her goal was not to have bright blonde hair. That's what I think is interesting about this video. So we're just trying to pop some highlights on there so I don't overly saturate the ends because there's no reason when you're not trying to brighten it up too much. So doing a lot of surface color, so you'll see that I'm kind of pulling it off of her face as well. That's how it's going to look when she pulls her hair back, so I want to make sure that that's how I'm painting it. If I were to paint it forward, it would disappear when she went to put her hair back. So just painting those pieces exactly where I want the highlight. That's why I like hand painting techniques, because in a foil, it's a little harder to put it exactly where you want to see each piece brighten up. In this case, you can see how bright I want it to be in the front and then how it tapers off towards the middle to the back. Now in the back, I'm going to break it up into just a couple horizontal partings. And what that's going to do is just brighten. I just want some bright pieces throughout the back, but I don't want to go scalp to ends whatsoever. So I'm just going to feather in some of this clay lightener, and then I'm going to tone it at the sink later. So all of this is just for that kind of scattered highlight look throughout the hair color. So you can see not a lot of saturation here. That's not the goal. If I were to overly saturate it, then you'd probably get too bright of those pieces in the technique. All right, so we're moving on to the last section on the side here. Just still a little bit of hand painting, not getting too aggressive into the back because, again, I just want to pop some bright pieces so when I tone over it, it gives a little bit of movement to the color. Same thing on top. This is in the crown area, so I will go a little bit higher with the lightener, but still not going scalp because I want this to be a more grown-out, lived-in look in the back, and I want it to start brighter in the front. So real quick, you can see that was 2 sections and nothing big deal. So we're going to let Grace's hair process for about 25 to 30 minutes. Then I'm going to take her back in the bowl. You're going to notice as I start to run the water over it, the tease is still in there. Because I didn't tease it that much, I just start to rinse it with lukewarm water. The tease pretty much comes out. And then I towel dry her hair and apply step 2, which will work out any other teasing that's in there. I don't want to force that tease out. That's just going to damage her fine hair. So again, very important, light teasing in this technique so that you don't have to work hard at the bowl. That's going to give you the most success. You leave that on for 5 to 10 minutes at the bowl or back to the chair, however you want to do it, and then I start rinsing that out. So the next step is to shampoo. I'm really just going to cleanse the hair, and then I'm going to towel dry it and apply our conditioning color treatment. Now, I want to let you guys know what this color treatment is because I think there's going to be some questions about it, something a little bit different. This is Colorcraft by Paul Mitchell. So I'm putting that in. It's a customized pigmented treatment that you put on the hair. So it's basically a conditioner with color in it. So I let that sit on for 5 minutes. We did like a chestnut flavor to it, and then I rinse that out, and that is it. All right, guys, so there is our end result. I hope you like this video and the technique. You find it useful in the salon. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe.